If you'd like online business explained to you in a way that you can actually understand, go to latenightim.com/explain. It's completely free, and I made it just for you. Now, how about an episode?
Episode 166.
Late Night Internet Marketing.
This week in the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast, I'm going to talk to you about marketing oil changes and how that might influence your marketing. And we also need to get into this idea of why internet businesses fail and what you can learn about keeping your internet business from having the same fate. All this and more on the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
The Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
You've been working for somebody else, but you want a business to run yourself. You want to know how to start and where to begin. Can you get out your comfort zone, my friend? Yes, you can do it right when it's late at night. At the end of the day, your dreams burning inside. So keep it up and you will find that you're building your business one night at a time.
And now, broadcasting late at night from a little studio in the big state of Texas, your host, Mark Mason.
Hey, how's everyone doing? My name is Mark Mason, and I'm coming to you from the little studio in Dallas, Texas. I hope you are having an absolutely fantastic week. You're getting all kinds of crazy stuff done with your business this week. We've got a couple of great topics for you for the podcast today, but before we get into that, I wanted to let you know that with the recurrence of consistent production of the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast, I'm really working hard to try and get back in the favor of iTunes. A lot of new listeners come from the Apple ecosphere. And so if you have time to go over to iTunes and leave a review, that would be absolutely fantastic. Now, there's something in it for you because every review that I get, whether it's from iTunes or Spotify, I try to leave a call out on the show. So if you want to mention what you're working on in that review or how the podcast has helped you with your business, I'm definitely going to give you a shout out right here on the podcast. So if that makes you excited, leave a review and make sure and let me know about it by sending feedback at latenightim.com. And I will make sure that you get mentioned on the show because I love to hear from you in that way. And I'm specifically trying to raise my rankings in the iTunes rankings because when your podcast goes dormant, as this one was several months ago, it impacts those rankings. And I want people to find this podcast. And so you can help me in that way. So go over to latenightim.com/iTunes, and that'll help you find the way in which you can leave a review. It'll take you straight to that link in iTunes, and you can go find the show and you can leave a review. Thanks so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. So I'm driving down the road listening to terrestrial radio, which is something that I don't do all that often. But right now, the Dallas Stars are in the playoffs for the Stanley Cup. And I'm not a big hockey fan, but I do like playoff hockey. I'm from the South, and so I don't claim to actually truly understand hockey. I certainly don't understand it in the way that I understand baseball, but I'm learning. And I find it very interesting. It's a neat sport. It's total chaos compared to baseball, at least from my perspective. It's such a fast game. And so it's really interesting to me. And everyone in Dallas is absolutely hockey wacko right now because the Stars have won the first round of the playoffs. They beat the Predators. We're off to play St. Louis. And so that's all very exciting. And there's a lot of talk on the radio. And I listen to that because it can help me understand hockey because there are a couple hockey guys on Dallas radio and they explain, especially during playoff season when a lot of people like me that aren't true hockey fans are listening, they explain the rules and the strategy and what things mean and what the implications are for all the things that happen in the hockey game. So while I'm listening to this hockey commentary, of course, there are ads placed interstitially in the content there during the broadcast. And one of the ads was for a car dealership. Now, this is a kind of a car broker. And from what I could tell from the ads, they specialized in placing previously owned cars with customers, and they had a lead magnet in their radio ad. It was very interesting. And the radio ad offered an absolutely free oil change. And they were very transparent in the oil change. They said they wanted to meet you because someday when you needed a car, they wanted you to know them. And I thought this was a very interesting technique, and it had a lot of parallels to what we do in internet marketing, because we offer lead magnets where we give customers a taste of what it is that we provide in the hopes of eventually selling them something. And in our case, we get their email contact information. In the case of this lead magnet, they're going to get your contact information when you use your credit card, and they'll get all the information about your car. It's pretty cool too, because they know what kind of car you have, and probably they can qualify you as a customer based on your current car. If you roll up in there in a 1972 rusted out Impala, then you're one kind of customer. And if you roll up in there in a 7 Series BMW or something like that, maybe you're a different kind of customer. And so for that reason, I thought this was a pretty interesting lead magnet. So what can we learn from this? First of all, I think the first thing we can learn is that lead magnets are a universal idea. And if you don't have lead magnets working on your site, I think you definitely need to do that. In fact, if you go to latenight.internetmarketing.com and you look at the main page, you'll see that the whole first above the fold chunk of pages really lead magnet related, where I'm asking you if you want more information. And I actually, on my homepage, give you a choice between 3 lead magnets that I've got going there at the Late Night Internet Marketing website. So lead magnets are really important. Email capture is really important. Getting new customers is really important, even for, and maybe even especially for, brick and mortar businesses. So all of that makes good sense. But I think one of the questions you need to be asking is your lead magnet getting you the right kind of customer? And so I started thinking about this in terms of this oil change. And so I thought about me, and would I drive out to wherever this place is? And I wish I could find the radio spot for you. I actually looked for it. I couldn't figure out a way to actually find it, and I never heard it again. I don't remember the name of the car company that was offering the oil change. I don't remember exactly where they were located. But the question is, would I go get an oil change for free? And the answer is no, because the oil change, the cost of the oil change for me is not worth the hassle of going to a new place that's probably out of the way, dealing with people that I don't know, getting an oil change that's of a quality that I don't really know, and not using my normal mechanic. It's not worth all that change to me. And so this goes to this topic of, when you offer a lead magnet, you're matching offers with buyers. You're offering your lead magnet. They're buying it with their email address. You have to deliver value that is worth the email address, the cost that you're charging the email address. And in this case, the value of an oil change in a strange place from people that I don't know is not higher than the cost, the perceived cost to me of going somewhere and being hassled by all that. So that's the one thing, is you need to make sure that you can learn from this. You need to make sure that your value makes sense. But what if you are the kind of customer for whom this offer is appealing? You're the kind of person who says, ooh, a free oil change. I got to go get that because I'm the guy who gets the free stuff, and I want to make sure that I get that because I want to save that $30 or whatever. So that's fine. Some people, and some people who are considerably more wealthy than me, they are considerably more frugal with their money, and they will go out of their way to save $30. My mom is one such person. She will drive halfway across town to save 50 cents on something, or at least she used to years ago. I don't think she's so much that way anymore. But that's not me. I'm not like that. I'm more ready to spend more money to get exactly what I want or to save some time. So by offering a free oil change, I think you're selecting customers who are more sensitive to the price of oil. Now, how does that qualify them for a purchase of a car in your dealership? Does that mean that those type of people are more likely to pay less for a car, to negotiate harder for a lower price and erode your margins, or to buy cheaper cars in your business? I'm not sure. And maybe that car business deals with used budget cars, and that's a perfect match for their business. I don't know. Maybe they're a luxury car dealer. I don't know. But I can tell you that it's important that your lead magnet properly qualify your leads. Now, a lot of times what we see in internet marketing is that the lead magnet that people are offering doesn't have enough direct relevance to the thing that they eventually want to sell people. So, for example, if you're wanting to sell a course about affiliate marketing, it might make sense to offer a lead magnet that has to do with some aspect of affiliate marketing. Or if you're wanting to sell cookie sheets or bakeware, it might make sense to offer a lead magnet that involves recipes that require special cookware, that sort of thing. It might not, it seems to me to make less sense to offer an oil change when you're wanting to qualify customers to buy a car, because really all you're doing is making sure that you understand that the customer has a car. And actually what you want is people who need a new car. So I'm not sure how great a lead magnet this is. And I'm not in that business, so I'm not judging these people for their marketing efforts. That may be the most successful marketing campaign they've ever run ever in the history of automobiles. But I'm just telling you that when you have your own lead magnet, you need to evaluate whether or not your lead magnet is well qualified. I'll give you another really good example of a kind of lead magnet. My friend Cliff Ravenscraft has this amazing conference that he puts on in the fall called Free the Dream, right towards the end of summer, first part of fall. As part of that conference, he enables people, he teaches people how to realize their dreams in life. It's quite an amazing transformational event. And there are a couple of key segments that start that conference off that make it totally magical. And one of those talks, Cliff puts online for free as his lead magnet. And in fact, if you go to latenightim.com/free the dream, it'll take you straight to that lead magnet. It's not a promotion. I don't get a commission if you go to Free the Dream, but I will be there if you want to come hang out with me. I will be at Free the Dream this year. That is an excellent lead magnet because it's incredibly valuable. It gives you a taste of what you're going to get at Free the Dream, and it leaves you wanting more. That's an example of a really good lead magnet, and I encourage you to go over and check that out as an example of one way to do a great lead magnet. So, is an oil change a really good lead magnet for an automobile sales guy? I don't know. But what I want you to do is make sure that you do have a lead magnet, and that lead magnet is really good for whatever the eventual goal is that you have for your new prospects in your business.
It's time to get to work building your internet business. One night at a time.
One night at a time.
Okay, so now I want to talk to you a little bit about why online businesses fail, and they fail all the time. One of the things that I do because of the people I hang out with is I end up in these courses either as a facilitator or a participant as a way for me to continually learn things about internet marketing. And I am in these courses where people pay sometimes thousands of dollars in order to learn how to do a thing. And usually it's some kind of business opportunity. They're building an affiliate website, or they're building some kind of offline SEO service business, or they're building a drop shipping business or an Amazon business. And so I get to interact with these people. And one of my favorite things about these sorts of courses is that I'm able to hang out with them in the Facebook group or the online forum or whatever and answer questions and help people and learn things. And I really like that part. In fact, you might say it's my favorite part of this sort of thing. It's one of the reasons that I do the podcast. So it's no surprise to me to learn, but because I interact with all these people, that what you see when you start one of these courses, maybe you'll start off with 500 or 1,000 people or 1,500 people. And then by a year later, when people should be getting amazing results, you're down to maybe 10% of that number that are still active, or maybe 15% that are still active, and 5% that have seen real success. And so the question is, well, why is that? Is it that internet marketing is not a real thing and that you can't make money? Well, no, we know that's not the case. We see people making money on the internet all the time, and they don't, at least in my observation, they don't seem to have any special magical, mystical, unicorn kind of characteristics. They're regular people. And when you get to talk to them, some of them have engineering degrees, and some of them barely finished high school, and some of them have PhDs, and some are men and some are women, and some are in the United States and some are in other countries across the globe. And there just doesn't seem to be any consistent thing except for hard work. And so I think the first reason that people fail when they come on the internet and try to start a business is they have a misconception about what the amount of work is going to be required. And I blame marketers for that. When you go and look at a sales page for a business opportunity on the internet, people talk about in the sales page the transformation that's possible. That's what sales pages are supposed to do. They let you in on what's possible. And that's awesome, because you need to understand that, and you need to be able to realize what you might be able to achieve, and that your dreams for whatever your life are possible. It is possible to lose the 80 pounds. It is possible to make millions of dollars or whatever. And they show success stories. And these success stories are always, by definition, just a few of the thousands of people that have tried and failed. And so from the lens of the sales letter, you get this impression that success is likely and that you are going to be able to achieve the transformation that the other people in the sales letter have also achieved. But what sales letters usually don't talk about is that there's work involved. Now, some of them will talk about it a little bit, because that's an objection that people have. And a lot of times in sales letters, you want to overcome people's objections ahead of time. You want to address them in the sales letter. And so they'll talk about the amount of hours per week you need to work or whatever. But really, what it comes down to is that in order to be successful in business, you've got to create value, and creating value usually requires a tremendous amount of work. And so one of the reasons people fail is that their expectations for how much work or time plus work or time multiplied by work that this is going to take is out of whack with reality. And so when they start encountering this work, or they start encountering how long it's taking for them to make progress, either one of those two things, they feel like it's not working and they quit. And so that's my first reason that people fail, is that their expectations are unrealistic. So my action for you here is to make sure that whatever your business is, whatever it is that you're trying to do, make sure you have realistic expectations. Maybe your goal is to make $100,000 by the end of the year. Make sure that's a realistic expectation. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have very aggressive goals. I think big, scary goals are a tremendous way to get leverage over a problem and to make massive progress and take massive action. But by the same token, you need to be careful and make sure that you're not completely demotivated when you fail to achieve those goals, or when you encounter obstacles, or when it takes longer than you think it's going to take. And you need to make sure that that resulting demotivation doesn't result in quitting, because quitting equals failure. And that's my second point, is that I think a lot of people in internet business fail because they quit too soon. And I've come back to this over and over again, and I mentioned this many times. Pat Flynn got very close to just abandoning the Smart Passive Income blog in the beginning, because no one was reading it. And he was thinking, well, why am I writing this? No one's reading it. And now you can see from his income reports, that blog alone generates 6 figures a month by itself. So, what if he'd abandoned that? He would have missed out on a tremendous amount of revenue and the basis for a lot of the rest of his business empire that he's created with Team Flynn. If he had just quit, he'd probably be back in architecture making $80 or $90 or $100,000 a year, not $80 or $90 or $100,000 a month or whatever he's making now, according to his income report. So, it's really very important that you're careful about giving up and you're strategic about it. And I'm not saying that you should never pivot. And I'm not saying that you should never recognize when you're on the wrong track and make some changes to get on the right track. But you do want to be careful about absolutely quitting and giving up too soon. The final thing that I think people do that cause online businesses to fail is that not only do they have their expectations out of whack, maybe, or perhaps they quit too soon, but they're just following the wrong plan. One of the things that continues to concern me about internet marketing business opportunities is there are a lot of people out there that will sell you a bill of goods and they really don't know what they're talking about. This concerns me. And it's really hard to weed out these people and understand who's for real and who's not. And I'm not saying that everyone out there is evil, or that even that these people that are trying to make it in the teach online business space are all bad. But I do see a number of fake it till you make it sort of people. I do see some people who are just trying to get your money from you. And I also see people that are teaching things that worked for them, but their plan for having them work for a large number of people is not so great. There are things that some people with established businesses that can do and can prove out and make work that someone just starting out, it may not be appropriate for them. And so there's all kinds of opportunities for you to have a bad plan. You can buy something that looks like a good business opportunity, but really it's not a great plan. And so it's really, really important that you make sure that whoever it is you're following to execute a particular plan, it really is a credible person. You need to stay with people that you can really trust based on the track record that they've produced, the number of people that they've helped, and so forth. I think that's really important. So these are my reasons that people fail in internet business. I think their expectations are whacked because they don't understand the amount of hard work that's going to be required or the time that's going to be required. I think in some cases they have a plan that is really not suitable for what it is that they need to be doing, or some combination of both of those things, and they quit too soon.
Now it's your turn. What action are you going to take to build your business?
One night at a time.
All right, so your action this week, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is check your lead magnet. Think it through. What kind of customer are you attracting with your lead magnet, and what does it say about your lead magnet that they're taking you up on your offer? If the person that takes you up on your lead magnet offer, are they your ideal customer? Do they match your ideal customer avatar? Or do you just have a lead magnet out there because somebody told you had to have one, and it's either out of date or doesn't match the person that you're really trying to attract in your business? Think that through. And while you're at it, pay attention to the marketing that's going on around you and try and break it down. Try and understand why people are doing what they're doing. Try to find an example this week of marketing that you can recognize what the strategy is and use some of that insight in your own business. And if you find something really interesting or wacky, let me know about it. I'd love to hear from you. Email me at feedback@latenightim.com. I'd love to hear what you find out there. All right, go have fun out there. And with that, we'll be back next week with a real life former Major League Baseball player. How about that? That's exciting for me because I'm a baseball guy. Ciao.
You can do it right when it's late at night.
You've been listening to the Late Night Internet Marketing Podcast.
Be sure to visit latenightpodcast.com today to leave feedback for Mark. Download special bonus content, access the show notes, and more. See you there.
Until then, go and make some great progress on your internet business. One night at a time.
One night at a time.
Wow, super rainy this week in Texas. I think we're going to have to rent some scuba gear for my baseball team and find out a way to have baseball practice underwater. It has been raining. We have 2 critical games next week that we absolutely need to win. And with the combination of Easter, which is absolutely wonderful, and the rain and the crazy weather, we just have not practiced enough. We really need to practice. We tried to get in the batting cages a little bit yesterday, but gosh, man, the weather is just wacko. But we will persevere. We will win some baseball games, and I hope whatever's going on in your life is absolutely fantastic. It's actually 5 a.m. right now, and I make breakfast for the kids every morning, so I have got to get off of this microphone and into the kitchen. I think I'm going cinnamon rolls this morning. Yes, not a carb-friendly breakfast for my children, but they do love cinnamon rolls, and by extension, they love the guy who cooks them. Ciao.
Late night internet marketing.
Hey, it's Mark again. I wanted to tell you one more time about this absolutely free resource that I have for helping people who are trying to get the big picture for internet marketing, actually get started and understand what all their choices are. If that's not you, there's no more content. You can skip to the end. But if you're someone who came to this podcast because you're searching for how to get started online and you just can't cut through all the noise, I get it. That was me in 2007 when I was trying to get started. There were so many people throwing offers at me that I really couldn't even understand what all the different business models were. I couldn't understand how money moved around on the internet. And I couldn't really get a grip on what direction I wanted to go in so I could figure out how to move forward. I've created a free video resource for you just for that purpose at latenightim.com/explain. In several short videos, I just explained to you what internet marketing is all about and what online business is all about and the different options that you have for starting an online business. There's nothing to buy there. You just sign up for access and you get the videos just like that. So if that's interesting to you, or if you know someone who's in a same situation, send them that link, latenightim.com/explain. And let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what people are thinking that are in the exact same position that I was in more than a decade ago in 2007. In some ways, it seems like yesterday. And in some ways, it seems like an entire lifetime ago. Again, that's latenightim.com/explain.
Late night internet marketing.